Well, good morning, everybody. Hello. Hey, it's Becky from Power Tools with Thread. You are in our Stitchuation room. This is a Monday through Friday virtual stitching retreat where you hang out with me in here, follow me on my sewing journey, and I hope I can inspire you to put something under the needle. Hello, everybody in the chat. Great to see you guys. Where's all my Texas girls? Give me a shout out. Lots of folks here already. Oh my gosh. I had toyed with you guys yesterday. I started to talk about how Dottie, my little dog, has found her non-existent tail, and I'm going to show you the cutest video. Well, I think it's cute. It's my channel, right? So let's do our treats, shall we? They are right down here. Oh my goodness sakes. Come here, baby girl. So everybody can see you. They can see your back there. Y'all look at those ears. Oh my goodness. She is... They are standing up tall and proud. And they can't see your face, darling. Can you turn around? Come here. Come here. Can you turn around? Uh-oh. You got it. Chew with your mouth closed, friend. Here you go. There you go, sweetheart. And I'm going to give them their little chew sticks. Frito's right behind me here. There, you can see her. And then let them off into the care of Daddy. And then Daddy's going to feed them. Come on, y'all. Let's go. Come on, let's go outside. Come over here. You know the drill. Let's go. Frito, Dottie. There you go, sweetheart. Oh, I made them. Oh, you guys didn't get to follow me out there. I didn't pull the camera up. My apologies. I didn't pay attention to her yesterday, and she ate a hole. I'll show you. Good thing I have new furniture on the way, right? Good thing. So these are like cardboard, fabric covered cardboard. See that dark brown spot? It's right here. So she chewed that up yesterday pretty good, and with all the bones right around her. That was just wonderful. And, you know, I can't get mad at her. I mean, I gave her the little open-handed poop on the shoulder that Cesar Millan teaches. To let her know that's not cool. But the brown spot that's on there right now is actually red pepper flakes and Vaseline. So she doesn't do it. She went back to it, and she kind of sneezed a little bit. She didn't like that. So yeah, you have to refresh to get me started, Wendy? Well, that's good. I could use a refresh myself. Yeah. Yeah, puppies, they're puppies and they have to chew. It's just what they do, right? Just like babies mouths their fist or whatever, they just have to choose. So until she's 2, I'm probably going to lose something else. I know when we had, hi, Nancy, I saw you this morning doing your little patchwork quilt with the panel. I like that. That was very cute. Very cute. So I was sitting there, I was working on class materials for Mo Queens in Tempe. So I was sitting right there and Frida was right there and she was just going to town on it. I just wasn't paying attention. So, you know, that's on me, right? That's always on me. Okay. Couple of updates of my plans. Oh, let me show you. Yesterday, I did finish the second pot holder that we did yesterday. Aren't those pretty? They turned out just beautiful. So very happy with those. And today I'm going to work on the table mat that I am going to send along with these. So, I could patch the area with an embroidery design, Sophie's. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. So I had talked to y'all yesterday about possibly doing some bags for my daughter-in-law and my granddaughter for Christmas. And I decided that the what's it called? The Take It All 2.0, whatever that was called. That was way too involved for me, way too involved. So I have the Foldy Locks pattern and Claudia's in here. She's a bag making fool, you guys. Oh my gosh. She teaches bag making at Stitched in Shirts. And she just put a picture of Foldy Locks on her Facebook page. We're friends on Facebook personally. So it's really an easy pattern to do. So I decided to use Foldy Locks with that little dog fabric I showed y'all yesterday. Okay. So I think Callie would do better with this anyway. And then for the baby changing pad, I actually got that out and started to look at it. The changing station. Okay. I did what one of y'all suggested. I used to have some PUL fabric that I got at Hobby Lobby, forever ago. And I got rid of it. I decluttered it. Should have known. Anyway, I could go back over to Hobby Lobby, but it's 20 plus miles away. So I ordered a shower curtain liner. And it's a fabric one, like one of y'all had suggested. So that's going to work really well. Thank you. Yeah, Sophie says that'll be cute. So that's going to work really well for the inside of this. I will put the new shower curtain liner in my shower, and I will take the old one out and find a clean spot on it up at the top, right? And I will use that inside of this. So the fabric I'm going to use for this, I've had this fabric forever. I love this. This is so stinking cute. These little animals. That's right, Lynn. Lynn says that's always the case. Give it away and then you need it. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it sat for years completely unused, taking up space. I was like, I'm never going to make baby things anymore. Well, then my niece had a baby. So this is going to be the outside of it. And I've got the matching fabric to it. There's a panel too to this. So I don't know about the panel. I might go ahead and quilt this up and send it along for something on the wall. But that is super cute for the inside of it, the cats, those little leopards, and then maybe the trim. I don't know. I'm going to have to figure something out. I don't know how long it'll stay white, right? For the binding, I could actually cut this off, this stripe area here for the binding. What do you guys think of that? Oh, what happened to the Dottie video? Oh, Patsy, I'm sorry. Thank you. Y'all, I get to talking about fabric and look out. So let me pull it up and share my screen with y'all. That's my calendar. You don't want to see my calendar at all. Oh, hot mess. Hold on here. I'm going to pull up my iCloud. Oh my gosh. So we were sitting there watching TV. We were watching The Road. That's a new reality show. It's got Keith Urban and Blake Shelton. Anything with Blake Shelton. I got to watch it, right? So, all right, let me, and then Dottie just got in with the dancing. She just was going crazy. So let me pull that up. Here it is. And I'll go full screen. There we go. Now it's a vertical video. Sorry, I wasn't thinking. Yeah, I'm a internet videoing professional, right? So let's do this, and I will share it, and then make it play. No tail.
The prize is like a huge bonus, but
where's your tail?
I feel like I have a job to do, and I'm like so laser focused in this house.
Y'all, she's nuts. She's nuts. And then, it's not there. Isn't that funny? I always thought a dog would chase its tail because it's got something back there annoying it. No, she's like, oh, she's a scream. God put puppies on this earth just to make us laugh, right? So yeah, I watched a video the other day of a lady. She was doing long arming with a baby panel. It was precious. And so the ghost tail, yeah, I think so. And what she was doing, I don't even remember the name of the channel, y'all. It was like a 36-minute video. She didn't talk through the whole thing. She just did, it was free motion and ruler work. And so she took on the long arm, she just went around the outside of these shapes. Now that would be a good practice for me. My free motion, but yeah, so she did piano key all up the sides and across the top, and then just around the outside, inner border and outer border of the little, like the yellow frame. And then she just stitched all along the inside and up the trunk and the little details in each one. And and I thought, I thought, it's just tracing, but you're tracing with your long arm. And I thought, well, maybe I can do that. So you can't make your thumbs up work on your iPad. Oh, you did it on the TV. Thank you. Yeah. Fabric hypnotizes me. I know. I like watching Angela Walters too, Evelyn. She's fabulous. So anyway, I thought I could do this and send it along. Or not make my life so difficult and just do a pantograph. I mean, edge to edge out of the long arm. That's what I'll probably do. Don't make my life hard. Because if I have to do this, and I'll be intimidated, and you get ambitious, and then all of a sudden it's in your face and you're like, uh-oh. So maybe I'll just do some bubbles on it, right? That'll probably work. You believe in me? Thanks. Even my stippling leaves a lot to be desired. But this is just a precious line. What is this? This is Safari Sunrise by Diane Eichler for Studio E Fabrics. That is what this line is. If you wanted to see that and see if you can find it. It's an older panel, but it's precious. So bubbles would be cute. Thank you, Margie. I appreciate that. Becky, we trust. Nancy, I don't know. Okay, so I should have enough of, I don't know if I have enough of this to back this and make the changing station, but I really want to make the changing station. So I've got some other fabric that'll work for a backing. So thank you for helping me decide that. I was all intimidated about free motion and ruler work and all that. Plus, I'm tall, and so bending over on that ruler or sitting in a stool, it hurts my neck. So, all right. So that's what's going on with buy any patterns and that kind of thing. All right. So I wanted today to get this panel quilted up. My daughter-in-law has an island, and this would look really pretty on it. Or she might put it in a drawer. Who knows? But I'm going to make it nonetheless. I wanted to use Designs by Juju's quilting backdrops. Now, Juju's quilting backdrops they come in a scad of sizes, okay? And they have Quilt As You Go backdrops, which have, placement and tack down for batting. And then she has hoop fillers, and the hoop fillers are just the stitching without that kind of thing. And that's what I'm going to do today. So I decided that because this fabric is so pretty, putting it on the back of this mat would not be, I'll probably use this for something else. Maybe I'll make a little coin purse or something. Who knows? Who knows? So I'm going to use this solid that goes with the line as the backing. That's perfect. And I might even stitch up the rest of the panel, not the words, but let me show you the rest of it. I'm just not a fan of the words. I don't know why. I looked around. I've got that owl version of it too. I could stitch that up, and then I could send that along. Okay, so the pumpkin, right? That's just beautiful. So I don't know. I'll see about doing that. Okay, it needs to be seen. I know, Patty. That's how I feel. I knew we'd hang together on that decision. Thank you. So it can be kind of intimidating to know which one you need, and how many times, how many passes do you have to do. So I'm going to go over how you do it with a camera and without a camera. So the with a camera is definitely handy, both of those things, when you go into the next pass. So how do you choose what size? And the plethora of sizes that you get are great. Let me so if you're doing a quilt that has lots of different blocks in it, different strip sizes and everything, and lots of different blocks that are like Quilt As You Go. That's a real good reason. She's got some that are like 2-inch, strips. And those go on a 2.5-inch strip. They go right down the middle of it. And you've got room on the sides for your seam allowances. So depending on how you want to do things, right? Because she has loads of quilts, table mats and all of that other stuff that you may want to not put the applique on and just do background quilting and maybe make it something else. Who knows? So anyway, all right. So first things first is to get the dog biscuits out of the way. And I need to know, turn this. I need to know how big this is, and I want to get it. This is going to be my binding. And I want to get it centered. So let me get my coffee out of the way. A centering ruler or a good ruler. This is really handy. I can tell right now that I've got more fabric over on this edge than I do over here on this one. So the shorter one, I'm going to figure out how much that is. I'm going from the edge of the fabric to the first little dot of ink on that blue berry. That's the furthest thing out. So I have about 1 inch. Okay. The name of this fabric, it's I Love Fall Most of All by Deb Strain for Moda. So it's 1 inch, maybe 1 1/16 inches from the edge to here. These came out last year. Okay. And then this one, the farthest, let me turn this. This has that extra 1/2 inch, so I got to pay attention to that. This one has 1 3/4 inches, right? So I need to, this is where my brain goes crazy here. I need to go 1 inch like that. So I need to trim off about that much. And I've got it backwards. So I'm going to go 1 inch over from the last little leaf here on the panel. And then I have my horizontal center. Where's my rotary cut? Because you don't want it wonky, right? Okay. So I'm just going to trim this up. Let me make sure my line is even with the bottom edge so it's straight. I'm 1 inch and a hair over, just like the other side. Okay. So now I've got my horizontal center. And then here I can tell I've got less fabric from the bottom. So that's the one I need to measure first. That's 1 1/8 inches. And so I need 1 1/8 inches. Longer ruler will work. Okay. I need 1 1/8 inches from the top of the tallest letter. And that will get me my the other side. I'm trying to think vertical. Okay. Make sure that that's nice and even. Boy, this wasn't printed straight at all. Typical with panels. Very typical. Okay. That is close enough for government work, I think. All right. So I'm going to trim this. Get out of there. I'll cut those loops off. Okay. So now my panel is evenly, the picture's evenly balanced now. So I just showed you how I go through that process. Okay. I need a backing. So how wide is this? Let me see. I'm going to put it on the 20 line and it goes to 29.5 is how wide it is. I'm sorry, 9.5. I looked to the 29.5 number on here. So 9.5 is how wide it is. I want an extra, inch on both sides. So I'm going to cut an 11.5-inch strip off of this fabric here. And that will, this is the even side. And then I'll press it out and get it all good to go. So my ruler's only 8.5. So I'm going to count over 3. It's on the 17 line right here. So I'm going to start at 20. And this is an 8.5-inch ruler. And that'll give me 11.5. That's an extra inch on both sides. Yes? Yes, I think so. In some math. So this is how I figure this out. I need to get that even. Okay, so that should be plenty for a backing. I'll cut it down to width in a minute. Oh, I can do that now. Length, width, length, length. Yep. Okay. So this is going to sit just kind of right like this. Okay, it doesn't have to be straight because I'm going to trim it down completely when I get done. All right, and I'm just going to, a little extra over here on the end. Got like 2 inches on each end. Okay. All right. So now my backing is done. I'm going to press this because it needs help, right? What are you all doing? You saw someone say hi from Australia? I got, Diane is so sweet, y'all. She's with us all the time. I think she's binding right now. Your little cheeky girl is a doll. Oh my goodness. She sent me, where is it? She sent me the 2026 calendar for the last homely house. Y'all ever watch her on YouTube? Thank you, Diane. You're so sweet. I appreciate that. So it came from England. I got a the envelope had the Royal Mail stamp on it. I was like, oh, Princess Kate sent this to me. Oh my goodness. Too funny. All righty, let's get this sprayed down. So this is just how you go about doing this. I mean, if you want to cut up a panel that you've got sitting around, it's not doing anybody any good in your stash. You need to get it out and do something with it, right? I could use the panel for the outside of the changing station. Yeah, you like watching her? She's sweet. She's a sweet lady. Very, very fun to watch. You know, if you're working in your sewing room, she's another one of those you can put on and just keep stitching. Okay, this is done. This is ready for hooping. Let me bring you back over here. And then I need some batting. So the batting I'm going to use is a Pellon. This is 988. Pellon's 988. It's not a fusible at all, and it's very thin. And I like that because if you put something on it, it's not going to let a cup topple or a glass that gets set on there. It won't wobble around. So I'm gonna put this on the 17 again, and my backing was 11.5. So I'm going to go like 10.5 on this, just an inch less. There's the 20. And so 27 is 10.5. Okay. We'll do that. Just a little bit in between the two pieces is what I do. Okay. This stuff is great. I learned about this from Carolyn Poley, who, God rest her soul. She She had bolts of this stuff. She used to own Jelly Rolls to Go before she passed away just a couple of months ago. Okay. This is looking good. That's not the one I want. This is the one I want. Whoa. You could use 2 layers of it, I guess, if you wanted it, you know, a little bit thicker, because it's thin stuff, but it makes such a pretty table, you know, placemats, table toppers, and all that. So I just eyeball this, you guys. I don't get all hung up on all these measurements because it's very customized, right? Okay, and here's the extra from that piece. So now when you do this, you're actually hooping, you're using the backing as your stabilizer. So you don't need any kind of stabilizer at all. All right. And you missed that. What is the white bolt? It's Pellon's 988. It is not a fusible. You can use a fusible. If all you can find is like 987F, which is very close. There's a 977, 987, and 988. 988 is the non-fusible. I know the 987 is single-sided fusible, and then just put that toward the backing. So if you do any pressing or whatever, you know, it's going to be fused to the back. It doesn't matter. It will not change the quality of your project at all. And then the 977, I think, is double-sided fusible. So whatever you want to do. Okay. Yes, so Diane wrote me this right here. This is the sweet lady who sent me that calendar. Thank you so much, Diane. All right, I need this hoop. I think this is the 8x12. I'm pretty sure it is. All right. So now I want to talk about how you're going to decide what size of background quilting design to use in the backdrops from Juju to figure out how to do this. You've got to figure out whether you're going to use a horizontal design or a vertical design. So she sends both. I did a printout, okay? This is a vertical 8x12. So I chose the 8x12 because we're going to go slow. Because I'm bad at math, we're going to go slow, okay? This design, if I was to use the 5x7 or the 6x10s, that's just not enough to get this done, okay? I could, but it's small. And you're going to do more passes. And the goal is to do as few passes as possible. So this one, the 8x12, I can see I want this quilting to come off the edge just a little bit, okay? If I do the horizontal one, it's not big enough. So 8x12 horizontal is not going to give me, the pumpkins will look right to me, but I still have extra out here, okay? So the 8x12 horizontal vertical gives me a little bit of stitching off of the panel, which I want, and yet it still fits within the hoop, okay? So if you don't have a camera, I would go ahead and print one of these first. This has a crosshair in the center of it, which is very handy, okay? And these things come out, if it's an 8x12 design, it's not going to fit on an 8.5x11 sheet of paper. So it comes out on 2 sheets of paper, okay? So what I'm going to do is just trim off that little edge because it's got both of the little edges. See the little line right there? I'm going to trim that off, okay? I don't know why that thing prints that, my documents and whatnot on it. It comes out only when I print from in Brilliance. I pulled the design into Embrilliance so that I could see it. All right. And then what I'm going to do, yeah, you can see, let me get you in just a little bit. So I'm going to tape this piece right here, right on those dots. And there's a little piece of a crosshair alignment line here and here. So I'm going to line those up, and I'm going to get my pumpkins and my swirls and everything all lined up nice and pretty. Okay. So that I know that that's how that's going to stitch. I've had people email me and go, it comes out on 2 pages. What do I do? This is what you do. And it moved a tiny bit. Doesn't matter. It's just for placement purposes. Now I can come over here and I do like 1/4 of an inch. Well, I'm going to trim as close as possible here. Okay. So on the bottom now, I have this. What I also want to do is I want to trim as close as possible on this edge because I'm going to make several passes of this design. And I want that to be really close so that I can see what they're going to look like. Let me get as close as possible. The farthest one out is down here. Okay, so there we go. So now I have a really good template. See that right out there? It's right to the edge. Now I have a really good template to let me know when I get finished with the first pass and I need to rehoop it. Okay, because I'm going to do it kind of like this. I'm just going to make sure there is a little bit of stitching off the edge of the top piece and a little bit off the edges out here. Okay, and I can see that that's right there. So when it's time to rehoop, I can take my panel, my template, and it's right there on that pumpkin. I'm going to line it up the next side right there on that pumpkin. And now I have my crosshair again, and I can figure out where to put needle center. So I'll be able to do this in 3 passes. So as few passes as possible, closest to that just goes over the edge of the top. Now, I don't want that foot. This is why I have a long arm, Kimberly. I know, but this is a pain on the long arm because it's too small. Not everybody has a long arm. So when you're doing this, you want to tape down all of your sides. Anywhere that foot is going to pass over and could catch, you want to tape it down. So I'm just going to little bit on the panel, completely covering that batting like that. Okay. A little bit on the panel. And I don't think that stitching is going to go all the way out here. It might. Let me do that just in case. This is paper tape, 3M paper tape. Love it. Okay. So all the way over the edge of just now, you want to put your tape within 1/4 inch of the edge. That's really important because when you go to trim it, you'll have stitches in there that you can cover with a binding. So this is really important to do this. And if you want to be able to print your embroidery designs, I have a link below to Embrilliance, and you can get the free Express version, and you can print from Express. You can pull designs in and print from Express, which is very handy. This is the exact same process I did when I was showing how to do Designs by Juju's edge-to-edge quilting designs. Same idea. But I don't want to do edge to edge. I want to do this all over hoop filler because that's cool. So I'm ready to hoop. Let me, first of all, I need a marker. Do I have a marker? Yeah, I have one down here. Okay. So I'm going to fold on my crosshairs. I like to fold both directions, all 4 directions, I should say. And then fold it back this way. It's just easier to see. And then fold this. You want to pre-fold so that it's easy to unfold and see where your crosshair is going to go. Now on these magnetic hoops, there is no definitive center. Okay, no definitive center. So you got to kind of wing it. So this is how I want this to stitch. I know for a fact it's big enough. My hoop is big enough. Okay, so I'm going to, this looks straight to me. I'm going to fold it over this way. Okay, and I'm going to put my crosshair, or you can use a dime target sticker. I just don't happen to have one. It's on the other side of the room. And then I'm going to put this right here. So there is that center right there for the design. And that's how I find center. And I'm going to hold on to this because I'm going to need it. I would need it 2 more times. Okay. As I rehoop. If you're going to be doing this kind of project, y'all, magnetic hoops are definitely the way to go. Definitely. Okay. So I'm going to get this. Now, check this out. I don't have enough room here for this to happen. So now what? That's not going to work. I won't get a good stability in there, right? The tension won't be right. So here's how you fix that. You do use stabilizer. I'm just going to cut a piece of this. Darn it. I'm going to cut everything. This is what happens when I do this kind of stuff. I get stuff everywhere. Everywhere. Okay. So where you put this is inside of your project. So I'm going to take my taped pieces, make them a little bit, pull this open. This is how you do that. I could actually do a whole thing. Is it wide enough? It is not. Okay. So when you put this in here, you're going to trim it away and it will not really change the hand of your project at all. I'm going to make sure that that is on there. That's going to remain in the project. It'll be cut away. See? Look at that. Cool. Okay. Then I'm going to set this here, and then I'm going to put this up on that arm. That's not going to work. Can you hear Dottie? Goodness, I need to pull this over just a little bit more. So one of the things you can do on these hoops, because they're not a definitive center, is you can put your hoop kind of, I'm eyeballing the middle of these top and bottom. Okay, and so here's the line in the middle of that. And then this is approximately center here. I can take my crosshair that I made and drag it over to center like so, right about there. And that's going to work. Okay. And you may, if you don't have, you may get the old, you don't have a big enough hoop. You might get that. I think that'll work. Oh, maybe it won't. I am skimping on my edges here on my stabilizer. So I'm going to cut another piece. Okay. And I'm going to put it here. And I'm going to tape it. Oh, no, not that far. Whoop. What was I doing? Too much. I said within 1/4 inch of the project, right? Is this about center? Right there. Okay. And I'm just going to put this here. and then tape it. You can always add on to the edges of your project with no-show mesh stabilizer. Okay, so now I've got a little bit more. I think that'll work a little better. Okay, where's the ends of this? That goes here. And then I'm going to drop it down and pull this out. Nice and smooth. Yeah, that's why you want a long arm for sure. I'm with you, Amy. That's exactly right. It can be expensive. Y'all, that's the Bro Thread no-show mesh is what I use. That's the 15-inch wide roll. I've got another one on the way here. I've been using that stuff for years, y'all, years and years. It's not crazy expensive. I get like 50 yards and it's, I don't know, 25 bucks or something like that. So why don't I hoop it the other way and turn the design with, 6-1. I know, Vicky's like, whoo, that was a lot. 6-1, half dozen the other. I could. I certainly could. Oh, I need to get, before I do this, I need to send the design over. Let me bring you down. Because I don't do things right. That's why. I always have to make my life hard, I don't know that, that's just the way my brain thinks. I don't know. I guess I could turn it. Okay. So I need to go into Embrilliance. I've got it right here. Let me, I'll take you guys with me. I'll share my screen. We'll go to entire screen, click that and share. We're going to go to an infinity screen for a second. And then I'm going to open Embrilliance. There's the design right there. That's how that's going to fit. And so you can see here, it's the design by Juju, Pumpkins and Swirls 8x12. So, why didn't I do that? Right. Though the reason I didn't do it the other way is because the horizontal one was too short for the height of the whole piece. That's why. Yeah. I'm going to go to Utility and Wi-Fi to Brother Baby Lock. They don't do this for any other machines. I'm not going to name it. I'm just going to tell it okay. It should find. There, we got the spinning beach ball. Cool. Okay. And it'll find it. And I should get file sent to machine. Excellent. Love that. Love that. Love that. Okay. Coffee. Coffee, coffee. Okay. Seat of the pants is how we roll. Penny. Amen, sister. Yep. Would I do a backdrop or edge to edge on a baby quilt? I would do an edge to edge on a baby quilt, probably. The next step is to get in Brilliance, being a newbie. Well, Dawn, come into the water. It's great. I have a link below if you'd like to take a look at that. That's my link, and I appreciate it very much. Happy to teach y'all. Okay, so it's over here. Let's take a look. And then we're going to, do I want the stabilizer to show on the front? No, I do not. It'll be trimmed away. It'll be all trimmed away. Let's get in here. I have glare that you guys do not want to look at. Let me turn that way. Okay, get my button and bring you in. And let's take a look at what we got. What's the difference between edge to edge and a backdrop? Backdrops nest, pretty much. They look like they nest. Okay. We're going to go to embroidery. And the pocket, pocket for memory. And I sent it over wirelessly, so I'm going to hit my little radar waves there. Okay, and here it is. Now you watch. This is going to tell me use a bigger hoop, and I'm going to get mad. I'm going to hit set. Okay. And embroidery. Oh, I want to share with you guys here. I am using a thread color called Cashmere. It's this one. It is actually a perfect match to the darker tan in that pumpkin. To these, let me see, to that color right there. That's the color of the cashmere thread from Glide. And so I made a bobbin of it. Not a whole bobbin, just enough to do 3 passes. I made a bobbin of it because I don't want that thin white bobbin thread showing on the back. I would rather have this. Now, I'm not sure where this is going to start, so I don't want to get a big knot on the back. So here's how I roll with that. I'm going to go to embroidery. I'm going to do a trace right now just to make sure I've got this hoop on correctly, and hit the trace button. That'll work. Okay. I'm glad I did this because I've got this top of the hoop too far this way. I can see the edge of the other one out here, and this will clang on there. Okay. So what I'm going to do is just very gently push this top hoop and move it just back over. Ooh, come on. Move it where it needs to go. I don't want it to smack on there. Tracing when you are using magnetic hoops and you're doing this kind of thing where you know those stitches are going to come out to the edges, very, very smart. Okay. Thank you. Patty says, pretty choice of thread. I did want it to show, but I didn't want it to be screaming at you. Could I have put the design directly in my machine? Oh, I don't know. I'm not going to jump into that conversation. Okay. So I want to make sure that I don't have a big old knot on the back. It might start out here, which would be fine because the edge of the material is right here. But if it starts in here somewhere, I need to make sure. So I'm going to touch OK on my screen. Okay. And I'm going to go to the needle plus minus, and I'm going to go +1. So there it is. It is going to make a knot right in the middle of my screen. Which button is the trace button? It has a square with an arrow around it. I'll go back. It's this one right here. Can you see? It's grayed out because I'm not going to be able to use it now that I'm into this. This is it right here. It's kind of a square with an arrow around it. That's the trace. Okay. Sandy, I hope that helps. Okay, needle plus minus. Okay. So I did a +1, and now I know it's going to start right in the middle of my pumpkin, and I don't want a big old knot in the back. Now, not that anybody's looking. I guess I could. So how you do that, I'm going to grab the tail, and I'm going to pull myself some extra thread, and I'm going to needle down and needle up. And when you're doing that, you're actually taking a stitch in the design. So now I've got my bobbin thread, okay? Just like we do on a long arm. Where'd it go? Oh, I can't see it. I know it's up. Okay, there we go. So there is a knot button on these machines. If your machine has one, I recommend you use it. You don't have to, especially, well, I can just let it go from here because it's going to, but this is the knot. If you need a knot when in the tie, whoops, you can't see that. It has a little tiny circle on it. That's the knot button. Okay. And you use that. If it was going to end in here, I'm not sure where it's going to end. So I'm going to tell it, okay, I'm just going to go. So it's going to create a knot, but I have the tails. So I'm going to stop. And now I'm going to trim my tails on the top. And it will be beautiful. So no tails or knots on the back. and no clanging on the edge of my, this is good. So I'm just going to let it run and do its thing. Yeah, it's these little, does the Solaris have trace? Yes, it does. All high-end, I think all embroidery machines have a trace of some sort. I know you hadn't seen a machine without it. Yeah, neither have I, Debbie. I have the NQ 3700D. Oh, my original little PE 770 has a trace button. It's just for safety. Evelyn says, that is so helpful for knots. Yeah, I know. I love my long arm too. Harriet says, I love my long arm. This is a tiny project. I don't want to fiddle with the long arm. And it's handy to know these little tips if you've got something on your long arm, your mid project, right? Yeah, always use the trace for this kind of thing where you might have stitches coming out toward the center. If it's just a design in the middle, don't worry about it, right? But I think all brands of machines have a trace. I like that color. I think that's looking good. Let me get you guys in so you can see. And when it gets near the end, see the pumpkins and swirls on there? Beautiful. So you'll be able to see the background quilting. I like that. But yet still the picture is going to be out pretty on there. Now, when it gets near the end, oh, how do you know where the end is? You take a look at your screen. All machines have this. And I'm on stitch 1500 out of 4218. So at about 4200, I'm going to really be paying attention. And I'm going to show you how to catch that last thread, okay, so that you don't have a big knot on the back. This is how you make it just as pretty on the back as it is on the front. What do I do with the tape if it is stitched down? I leave it in there, Ruth, because that's why I don't tape out. The tape is within, down here at the bottom. And get you, I'll show you. Let's get up real close. Okay. I think you can see it. It's moving. So the tape edge is right here, and there's the edge of the fabric right there. So if it stitches over it, this is going to be covered in the seam line. I just leave the tape there. This is an 8x12 hoop. Do you have to have Embrilliance to do this? You do not, but it is handy. You can get the free Embrilliance Express. What is the use of the no-show mesh? Oh my goodness, y'all, we got embroidery questions today, huh? What's the use of the no-show mesh? No-show mesh provides a nice stabilizer that's nice and soft, especially for quilting. And it's not going to change the hand of your project. It's still going to have the same drape and flow. If you were to use a tearaway, okay, that makes it stiff. And since the no-show mesh stays in your project, you want something, if the stabilizer is going to stay in your project, you want something that's really soft, okay? So, sounds like 4-H, you were always told back is pretty as the front. Yeah. So we're just a little over halfway now on this. Now this is probably going to, let's see where it started. I don't know where it's going to finish. I'm not sure. Oh, there is something you can do on this machine. I forgot. Let me stop it. Okay. I want to show you. There's something you can do on these machines. And let's get in here. It's in your settings. Okay. I think it's up here. Okay. I'm going to go into my settings. And I have embroidery needle stop position is down, which I want. Let me go another one. thread color, thumbnail size, basting, background image, 11. This is all wireless stuff. That's not it. Let me go back. I don't know if it's in the design or it's in the settings. I can't remember. You can tell it, do not make a knot. Don't cut the thread. I think that might be in the design. Let me see. Pointer, pattern outline, brightness, screensaver, all of that. Let's see. Endpoint setting, nope. Nope, I'm gonna tell it okay. I'm gonna tell this okay. Ah, it's right there on the front of the screen, Becky. Thank you, guys. Yeah, good job, Debbie. You guys give me a thumbs up. See that scissor with the little swirly? It's on the main design page. That's a do not cut. Okay. So now it says, let me back up. Now it says end color trim. Trim is embroidery speak for cutting the threads when it's done. Okay. So if that is no longer selected. So it's not gonna, this tells it to trim the jump stitches. It'll make knots all over the back. Okay. And that's the distance of the thread. Okay. End color trim is the cutting the thread when it's done. All right. And I don't want it to do that. So I deselected it. I'm going to tell it okay. All right. Now we're ready to go again. That is so handy. That button doesn't get used a lot, but it's very handy in this instance. So that I don't want it to cut, because when it cuts, it's going to do a short trim, right? And then okay, it's going to do a short trim and leave tails, and I don't want that. How much can that quilting design be enlarged? So, Julie, this is the beauty of the backdrops, and I've got a link to Juju's backdrops below. If you click on that, it'll jump you over to her site where you can see she has scads of them, all different designs for seasons and all that. You would actually use a larger one rather than enlarging, okay? You need to use that button when doing edge to edge. Yes, Sandra, you absolutely do. When you're doing edge to edge, you don't want a knot on the back. Uh-oh, okay, we're at 38. It's starting to get close to being done. So I got to pay attention and stop the machine. I'm going to stop it at, since I told it not to cut, it should be okay. All righty. So if your machine doesn't have that button, okay, I'm going to stop it. There's 4218. If your machine does not have that button, this is where you would use your knot button right here, okay? And then you're going to pull the hoop, which is exactly what I'm going to do right now. But it's knotting all by itself. Hold on. Okay, so it did not cha-chunk and cut the thread underneath, all right? So I'm going to give myself some top thread space, and I'm going to pull this, okay, so that I still have the bobbin thread on the back. All right. So I can trim this nice and close, and then on the back, I can trim that nice and close. So it looks just as pretty on the back as it does on the front. Okay, that's how you do that. So our hour is up, but I'm going to rehoop this, and I just was going to show you how I do that if you want to stick around. So now what I'll do is I'm going to just trim this bobbin thread close to the foot plate there, and I hate wasting thread and I love glides. So I'm going to, oh, I shouldn't pull it backwards. I know I shouldn't. But you do end up losing a little bit of thread if you are, if you're using that method. It's fine. No big deal. Okay, could I pull the bobbin thread to the top and bury them? Yes, that is exactly the next step. So now you would take a needle if you don't want to do that. So if you don't want to have the knot, right, then you're going to pull out the thread before it finishes and then put it in a needle and push it through into the middle of the project. And there you go. Okay. You want to see the rehooping? Okay. You can't get it neat. I know there's tricks to it, right? Okay. So let's go back over here to the table and I'm just going to lift this up. And again, I need to find some semblance of center. I've taped this to the thing. Some semblance of center. Okay. So I'm going to need another piece of stabilizer. Okay. All right. And I probably should have put a piece all through here before I started. That would have been smart. But, you know, afterthought and all. Okay. So I have extra stabilizer in here, right here. And you can cut that away, which I'm going to do. This is a make do kind of thing, right? Just most of it, right up to the stitches. Again, it's not going to change the hand too much. So if you don't cut it out, don't dye over it, it's fine. It'll be fine. But then I've got this extra piece that I can reuse when I Franken stabilizer. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to lay that right on there. And I know that that's big enough for the whole hoop. Okay. And just lay it back down on there. So I'm married up the edge of where it finished back up in here, where the stitching finished. That's really pretty. I like that. All righty. So now we got to get to the next pass and how to align all that up and get it so it works. So if you have a camera, you can downward display if you have a Luminaire or Solaris, you can downward display the design and get it nested right where it needs to go. If you don't have one of those machines, you take your handy dandy template that you've got, okay, and you put it right up next to, so I can see, let me see, I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. I can see the pumpkin piece right here, okay, and this is perfect. The distance is perfect, and then they're going to look nested even though they are not. So let me see. I'm going to bring it down. I just want to make sure that this, I'm kind of measuring and making sure these are level so that I know top to bottom, it's approximately the same. I'm going to turn this way. This is old school, y'all. Old school. And I'm going to turn it this way and make my crosshair. And there's needle center when you start. So again, find an approximate center of your magnetic hoop. So here's a vertical center and here's a horizontal center. I use the old finger. That's where my finger goes. And about right there will do it. And I can see the edge through. This looks good. Once you get the first pass done, let me see. Is that going to fit? I think that'll work. No, that's not. I don't know. How much space do I have? Oh, I'm going to move it over just a hair. Yeah. Because I want to make sure that this pass is not going to hit anything. So you just kind of line it up just like that. Okay, and I've got plenty of room here. And there. We'll try it just like that and see if that works. We'll cross our fingers, okay? As I say, this is how the sausage is made, y'all, okay? So I can see the edge of that, the pumpkin swirl right there. That's nice. And then I'm going to trace again and make sure that I get it, okay? Now I'm going to go into the machine and I'm going to also do this using the camera and show you how that is done, okay? You're going to try this on a table runner. It's perfect. Great idea. Yeah, Evelyn. You know, these are just nice ways to be able to quilt something yourself. You're welcome. Vicki says, thanks for showing this. You are welcome. Okay. I'm going to get that in there. All right. And I make sure there's nothing underneath. Okay. Y'all come over here. Pull your chair up. So on the Luminaire or the Solaris or the Avenir or the Baby Lock comparison to that, you have got buttons. We're going to play with these at Mall Queens too, if you're coming to that. I got a camera button right here, okay? And then right next to it, I have the cone, and that's the downward direction of where the design is going to be. So I'm going to hit the camera, and you can scan. If you've got the Dream Machine or anything after that that has that ability to scan, you can do this. I don't really need to do any more tape. It's all pretty adhered down. So it says recognizing on my screen. This is going slow because I'm talking through it. All right. So let's take a look at the screen. Get in here. All right. This is what I'm looking at right here. So there are threads in that blue pumpkin. Can y'all see? I'm going to use my, too much. Okay. There are threads right here in this blue pumpkin coming out, and it has the pattern crossing over the top of it. So I'm going to close the scan, and I'm going to layout. I'm touching the layout button, and I'm going to click on the rotate. Rotate allows you to move and rotate. So this pumpkin right here, that swirl is just crossing into that, which is not cool. So I'm going to use, let me back out. Where are they? There they are. I'm going to use these little jog buttons to move this. I can't go any further. This is why you want a magnetic hoop. This is exactly why you want a magnetic hoop. Okay, so let me show you. I can't go any further. Not going to let me. So what I need to do is move this. You just pick this up and you up and over, okay? And I'm just going to shift it a little bit. Little tiny bit, okay? And then I can lay this back down. This is the beauty of the magnetic hoop. Whoop. Now this thing likes to grab wherever. So all right. Okay. Now, so that's the scan to tell you if it's going to stitch over your stuff or not. Okay. So I can also use the cone, which is right next to the camera. I'm going to use the cone. I'm going to let it show me. I could run the scan again and check, but I don't want to. So how this works on your screen, you're not even in Design Center. This is just on your screen. There's a red box, and you want to drag the red box over to where the offending cross was. And I'm still just a tiny bit close. So I'm going to show you what I see. If it'll turn up on screen. Let me change the color. I don't know if you can see it. This is purple. It's just barely right on there. Let me do that one. Yeah, it's still too close right there. So, okay, we got to do it again. This is why the magnetic hoop, because this can make you crazy. If you have to continually rehoop and rehoop, y'all, Christmas is coming. I've got a link to these below. And my watch is not, I'm sure it's spam. Sorry. I'll move that over just a little bit. Okay. I don't know why my watch didn't attach to my phone. Okay, now that's a mess. That's not going to hoop properly. Okay, now it's moved a whole bunch and everything's gone to heck in a handbasket here. Okay, let me get this back. All right, I have to bring it around. It likes to just jump. That's about right there on that edge. That's too close. Still too close. So if you want, of course, you can take it out and fiddle with it again. It's not going to hit now, but it's close. I wonder if I can tug it from here. Let me see. Go back out wide. This is what happens. Yes, I do this, y'all, because I enjoy it. I keep telling myself that. I love this hobby. I just love it. You know, it's close enough right now. That'll work just fine. So I have a gap not big enough. It's going to annoy me no end. I need to do it one more time. Okay, one more time. Bring it over. I can't believe how much there. That's the right gap between. Move your fingers, Becky. And then watch it be too far, right? No, I like that. That's the right gap. So I have less than, it's like 3/8 of an inch right here. I'm going to move it up. And it's too far up there. So I could sit here and fiddle with this until we drop over dead, but our hour is up. Couldn't I just line it up on my center mark? So my center mark, yeah, I have to take the hoop off. I know. Sometimes I'm lucky when I try this in the machine. Other times I'm not. So on the center mark, when I first put it on, it didn't line up center. I would have had to move it and it wouldn't let me. It was clicking, tuck, tuck, tuck. So it wouldn't do that. So yeah, well, that's right. SRD. She says, some of us don't have room for a long arm. This is helpful. It's been a long time since I've done this, honestly. So you can certainly, I'm going to bring that back down. Whoop, too far. You can certainly, play with this and get it. Let me see. I already pulled the hoop. Didn't I? Did I pull the hoop? Yeah, I did. You get better at it, believe it or not. You do get better at it. So with the design displayed now, I'm going to use that as the unit of measure. I'm just going to do that from here. And I'm going to put down the side. You get used to this technique. That's too far. Move it back just a little bit. Because when you put the hoop down, what happens is it shifts the fabric a tiny bit back over. There we go. And now I'm 5 inches out of center. That'll work. There we go. Just being able to tug that. You cannot do this with the Brother magnetic hoops either. So anyway, all right, y'all. Woo! That's work. I'm going to pull the hoop and fix it because I love this hobby, right? So anyway, thumbs up, you guys, if you're, feeling the pain and you've been there. Oh, yeah, you can mark your endpoint. The problem is with the quilting backdrops, you can't see the endpoint. This is a hoop filler. There are no endpoints. You don't know where it ends. You do on edge to edge, though. Yeah, you do. So you get frustrated with edge to edge designs. So what I was just doing right there is how you get that, move it to +1 and you get it exactly where the last pass ended. And sometimes you have to tug it a little bit in order to get that done. So I am in need of more coffee. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. And yeah, you have to have a magnetic hoop. Yeah, that's the hoop filler. Yep. All right, y'all. I love you guys. So glad you joined me. I will see you tomorrow. Y'all go sew something. Give a thumbs up. Bye.